Wolf and the rest of the gang, trying to stay on the right path, are pulled back into a high-stakes heist by a mysterious new group in Bad Guys 2. So is this better than the first Bad Guys film? Let's get started on my review of DreamWorks' The Bad Guys 2. Let's go. What's going on, all my beautiful people? This is JC, and I just got back from watching The Bad Guys 2. Before I do start my review, please note this will be a spoiler-free review, just in case you haven't seen it yet, currently showing in theaters this weekend. Also, please make sure that you hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more new DreamWorks animated films that I'm reviewing just like this. So DreamWorks' The Bad Guys 2 stars Sam Rockwell, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, Zazie Beetz, Danielle Brooks, Natasha Lyonne, and more. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I hadn't really seen DreamWorks' The Bad Guys 1 until just last week, prior to this new release of part 2. And I had heard good things about that movie, especially when it came out, but I feel like it was one of those movies that just flew under the radar, especially in the animation world. DreamWorks is one of those studios I feel like that is pretty good when it comes to their track record. Most of their films are good, or sometimes they can be a little bit better, but nonetheless, I feel like the big dogs in the animation world when it comes to films, it's usually Disney, aka Pixar, or DreamWorks. Now, over the past couple of years, we've had some hit and misses, but to be honest, The Wild Robot blew my mind when I first saw it, especially last year when we had some pretty good competition when it came to the animated world. But nonetheless, when I heard that this movie was coming out, I thought, all right, I'm finally gonna give it a chance with the first Bad Guys film. I not only heard from people around me, my family members and friends, that it's a good movie, but I decided to check it out anyways. And to say the least, the first film was a lot better than I thought. You not only had a strong cast, but you had an intricate plot and also some twists in that film, as well as some comedic moments sprinkled all throughout. I really enjoyed that film, so it geared me up to this second film, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna review it because I haven't really talked about it. Also, coming off of watching that first one, I thought, all right, let's see if this second one is better. If not, just as good. So DreamWorks thought they would continue to mix things up with Bad Guys 2, but this sequel is just as wild and energetic as the first one, if not a little bit more. And what I mean by that is I will get into some of the action later on, but honestly I felt like this was a little more fast-paced. Now, after the original crew changed their lifestyle, let's just say, from the first one, they're definitely trying to go in a different direction, and I did appreciate that about this one, is that it picks up right where the first one ended. And you also have the original crew trying to really stick to what they believe in and a lot of the things that really transpired from that first film. Now, the gang in here, though, must team up with a tough police chief that has also changed her position on things to stop this copycat criminal and prove they've truly changed. I did love how not only the first one really battled with being a bad person and whether or not you can be good and have that same type of rewarding feeling as opposed to what you're used to or what society has made you to be. More in particular with the main character of the wolf. In countless stories from part 1, you constantly hear him say, well, you always hear about the big bad wolf. His perspective has changed throughout not only the first film, but his second film, and he's trying to stay on this path. But things usually get chaotic, and society and people around him can't help but try to get him to go back to his old ways. That's something that I felt like I could really resonate with, not just in my life, but everyone who's trying to change for the better. Sometimes your old ways or your past can really catch up to you. Now, the story, though, has more going on in this one compared to the first film, but it still keeps the heist fun and adventure alive. I felt like there was a lot of action, a lot of fast-paced moving compared to that first one that had a little more slower moments or things going on that you were really trying to get familiar with. Now, let's get into the acting. The voice cast is full of personality and really brings the characters to life. That was one of the things that I loved about the first one, and even going into this one, the cast is all the same, but man, their dynamic works really well. Sam Rockwell returns as Mr. Wolf and nails the charm and confidence once again. He's one of those underrated actors. Every time I see him in a film, I'm thinking, wow, I gotta check this out. Now, Mark Marone also returns as Mr. Snake, and he's a standout too, especially with his dry delivery. I love how he gives that personality perfectly to a snake, and you kind of have some questionable moments with him, just like in the first. I love how it adds to that dynamic with the group. Now, Aquafina plays the tarantula, aka Webs, and I feel like she's one of those actresses I know that gets a lot of hate and people don't really care for her as an actress or even a comedian, but if she's used sparingly, I don't feel like she's bad at all. And in here, just like in the first one, she's used pretty well. Now, Craig Robinson also returns as Shark, and he does an amazing job. He was one of the comedic standouts from the first one, as well as Anthony Ramos playing Piranha, and he brings a lot of the funny moments in this movie more in particular, especially with the fart gags and all those things. It's pretty funny. Now, I will say though, a lot of these characters don't really get as many solo moments this time around, but you're still really intrigued by the story and things that are happening to the core group. New voices like Danielle Brooks, aka Kitty Cat, and also Maria Bakalova playing Pigtail and Natasha Lyonne playing Susan are great additions to this cast. And they do fit in perfectly with the team, giving some funny and different type of dynamics to the whole story overall. And I will say this, Danielle Brooks is one of those actresses, and I did see her last year in the Minecraft movie, and I thought her character just didn't really need to be in there. She's never been a bad actress. I loved her in Peacemaker and also in here. She was one of the standouts, being a part of a different group, but giving a fresh dynamic and also showing a lot of her range in there as a villain. Loved seeing that. Now, Zazie Beetz also returns as Diane Foxington, adding a little bit more drama to the story overall, and I did like how things end. Let's just say there is a halfway point where something happens and her character, I was questioning what's gonna happen with her in here, and I did love seeing how everything came together. Now let's get into the animation. The animation is top notch in here, just like it was in the first one. DreamWorks pushes their style even further here, blending the slick visuals with fast-paced action that feels inspired by anime and comic books. I love seeing some of the 3D effects of these characters mixed in with some of the 2D, especially to exemplify some of their reactions to things and giving more of that dramatic flair to certain scenes. The film moves with style, from the opening heist to a big wrestling match scene and even a trip into outer space. The colors pop, the movement is smooth, and every scene feels alive with motion. It's definitely one of the best looking animated films in recent years, especially speaking from DreamWorks' point of view, excluding Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Wow, that was amazing. This one though has great moments and also looks just beautiful with that animation style. Now, we do also have to address the action in this one, because I felt like there was a lot more action in this film compared to the first. The action scenes are sharp and full of clever ideas. Every heist has layers, surprises, gadgets, teamwork, and it's clear that the filmmakers had fun designing each moment. I did love how it is more clear on which character does what and how it works for their team. One of my favorites for sure is how Shark is one of those disguise masters who's made to just go in and infiltrate, but also pose as one of the people inside of any kind of heist that they're doing. And it's hilarious seeing this big shark with a mustache and all these things, and somehow nobody recognizes that it's a shark. It's just funny to me. Now, whether the gang is sneaking around, dodging danger, or chasing the villain, the movie keeps the pace fast without losing clarity. Now, the final act in space is especially exciting and creative, with visual movements that will make your jaw drop. Love that whole third act. I was like blown away by not only seeing some of these characters, how they navigate through space, but also visually seeing how everything comes together. Now, another aspect we do have to talk about is the comedy, because yes, it's also present in here, just like it was in the first one. I feel like this is one of those movies too that's good for adults and children when it comes to the comedy. There's not certain jokes that will go over kids' heads, but at the same time, it'll hit adults as well. Now, the comedy is a mix of silly jokes, one-liners, and physical humor. Some jokes, like the fart in a spacesuit gag, might land better with younger kids, but the movie also throws in some clever references for older viewers. The characters still have great chemistry and their banter feels natural. However, the sequel leans more into action than character-based humor, which may leave some fans of the first film missing the slower emotional scenes, but nonetheless, I felt like this story didn't really need too many of the emotional scenes. Also, what really makes up for it is how the ending and how everything comes together. And I will say that because the first one, I felt like there was some things that needed to be addressed, especially seeing how all the characters in the group fit into the bigger picture of this world. I appreciated a little more closure in this one compared to the first. Now, with all that being said, you guys, I'm gonna give DreamWorks The Bad Guys 2 4 out of 5 flames and a fire film rating. This is a good, solid movie. I feel like you could take the family to go and see, and it's packed with more action and charm than the first, but I also want to highly recommend you go and see the first one before you watch this one, because that one's great as well. Alright guys, so have you seen this film yet, or even the first one? Are you looking forward to seeing it? What's the last animated film that you've seen that you really liked? Let me know in the comments below. The last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name is Jason. Until next time, I'm out.